Tonight, she paid into a funeral plan for decades, and now Anne's been told she won't get a penny. The Clydebank grandmother is one of hundreds who fear their families will be left to foot the bill after insurers pulled the plug.
I feel robbed by the people who ran this policy, you know, and I'm angry that they seem to have got off lightly on this.
Also making the headlines, could this be the turning point for Scotland's GPs? Doctors say extra funding is a step in the right direction, but the next 3 years will be pivotal for the future of general practice.
I've hit the shops as Black Friday gets underway. Retailers are hoping for a bumper weekend, while shoppers are being urged to remember not all bargains are what they seem.
How much are you prepared to pay to see Scotland in the World Cup? There are already concerns fans are being priced out of the market.
Now is the time.
And it may not be December yet, but how about this for a banging Christmas display? I'm John Mackay. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. Furious, let down and worried for the future. That's how thousands of credit union members say they feel after insurers pulled the plug on a funeral planning policy they'd paid into for decades. The Family Protection Plan was created in 1999 and sold via credit unions across the UK. But when the policy underwriter, Maiden Life, announced it will leave the UK market, the insurers announced the termination of the policy. So any death from the 1st of December will no longer be covered. Tara Fitzpatrick reports.
I just felt let down that we'd been paying this for a quarter of a century and we were getting nothing out of it.
Since July 2000, Anne has paid over £5,000 into a funeral plan with her credit union, a policy that's now being terminated.
And I feel robbed by the people who ran this policy. You know, and I'm angry that they seem to have got off lightly on this.
Insurance broker C Mutual terminated the plan when underwriters Maiden Life withdrew from the UK market. For those like Anne, it means funeral costs will now fall on her family.
How important was it for you to know that your funeral costs were being taken care of?
Well, it was very important not to leave the worry to family or anybody else, so that you had peace of mind.
Like Anne, 75-year-old Mary has been paying into the plan for over 25 years.
How has this left you and your family feeling?
I'm raging. I'm absolutely raging at what they've done. I just feel as if we've been robbed. To treat people the way they've done. You know, it's just... How can I describe it to you? It's like as if the carpet was pulled from under you. They're off what's our money, you know, and told us we're not getting it back. How can that be right?
They've targeted this product to walk away from.
Dumbarton Credit Union have over 100 members impacted. They've called on the UK government to step in.
Some of our members have paid in between £8,000 and £10,000 over those 25 years and they're left with nothing. So we are calling for the government to act, and we're calling for both the insurer to be held accountable and for the government to provide support to the people who are vulnerable and need it the most.
West Dumbartonshire's Labour MP has now met with the UK Treasury, but any solution will come after the plans are terminated.
If they are going to terminate this and leave my constituents with nothing, then they really have to look to compensate those who have paid in thousands of pounds who will be left with nothing.
Maiden Life say they gave C Mutual considerable notice to provide customers with alternative arrangements, while C Mutual say no UK insurer is willing to offer cover on an identical basis.
I just don't know where to go from here.
With cover set to end on the 30th of November, it's customers like Anne who've been left counting the costs.
Well, Tara, you get there a sense of the emotion from those who signed up. How many people are actually affected?
It's believed to be thousands across Scotland, John, who've collectively paid out millions of pounds. The Financial Conduct Authority have confirmed to us that they are looking into this, and the MP Douglas McAllister, who we heard from in the report there, he's calling on the UK Treasury to act. Now, that could mean trying to look for an alternative provider or failing that, some form of compensation scheme. And tonight we're still waiting to hear from the Treasury on that. Now, that might provide some hope in the long term, but as we heard there, this policy ends on Sunday, meaning that on Monday, anyone who's been paying into this plan is not going to receive a payout.
Tara, thank you for that. Survivors of prostate cancer have told STV News the decision to not offer all men routine screening for the disease is a missed opportunity. So Chris Hoy, who has incurable prostate cancer, says he's saddened by today's extremely disappointing decision from the UK National Screening Committee. There's no nationwide screening programme for the disease, despite around 5,000 Scottish men being diagnosed every year. More than a third receive the news when the cancer is already advanced to stage 4. Here's our political reporter, Laura Alderman.
So that's our team top from the Dundee FC Community Trust, where we meet weekly.
For Mike from Edinburgh, the friends he's made and the support from fellow prostate cancer survivors in his recovery have been invaluable. After suffering from fatigue last year, his GP offered him a simple prostate blood test, known as a PSA. It then led on to further tests, scans and biopsies, which revealed his diagnosis.
Treatable, but a little bit further along the line than one would like. I must say, I was very fortunate that my GP did those PSA tests. That was absolutely invaluable in bringing it to my attention.
Mike had his prostate removed, but still suffers from challenging side effects. Men over 50 can request the same PSA test that Mike had from their GP, even if they don't have symptoms. But experts argue the benefits of the test could outweigh the risks, as higher results don't always indicate cancer. There's currently no routine screening programme, and today the UK-wide expert group advising the government and the NHS ruled to keep it that way, even for men with a family history of the disease and black men who are at a higher risk. Only those with BRCA gene mutations should be screened, it said.
I just think it's a missed opportunity. With the statistics, the number of men dying, they've got a choice here. But given the seriousness of the disease and the fact that it'll end in fatalities, then it seems an obvious choice to try and start a programme.
High-profile individuals like David Cameron, who revealed this week he's been treated for the disease, and 6-time Olympic champion Sir Chris Hoy, who's living with incurable prostate cancer, have been campaigning for change. Sir Chris met with the First Minister this summer to discuss treatment. For charities, today's ruling is disappointing, but not a surprise.
We know the diagnostic pathways are under pressure, and then beyond that, the capacity to treat men, whether it's through radiotherapy, surgery or focal therapy, that may not be in place. So all of this needs to be looked at before you can say, well, let's screen, otherwise you create a lot more problems.
Mike now has the all clear, but says he's been lucky and takes his recovery day by day. Laura Alderman, STV News, Edinburgh.
Thousands have hit the shops or logged on online as Black Friday officially gets underway. But when is a bargain too good to be true? Cyber experts are warning shoppers to stay vigilant, with scams and phishing attempts expected to rise this week. Back in the high street, the retail sector are hoping for a bumper festive period. Well, Vanessa Kennedy is in the capital for us tonight. Vanessa, a busy day.
Well, a whopping 90,000 shoppers are expected to have hit the shops here by the end of the evening, and I've spent much of the day speaking to some of them who have braved the high winds to try to find themselves a bargain. But retail experts say that this is a critical time for the industry. While things have slowly been recovering post-COVID, the lead up to Christmas is how many of them try to bump up their sales. And for those who prefer online shopping, well, there's a warning to be vigilant, and if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Black Friday in the capital means bargain hunting for these keen shoppers.
It's 30%, everything is fine, it's good, yeah. We like it.
Doesn't look so bad out here, but when you're in the shops, yeah. There's a lot of queues to get in a lot of places actually.
Very big discounts. A nice discount. It's a very nice shopping.
We see that a number of our shoppers hadn't actually started their Christmas shopping yet, so we're seeing them waiting on Black Friday to really kickstart that Christmas shopping. Lots of offers are on, lots of people with bags, and yeah, lots of happy people.
But retail experts say consumers have been holding back on spending, with footfall being weak in the last few months, and that sales for the remainder of the year will be critical for retailers.
This is when people buy the extra nice product, they'll buy the full price thing, they'll maybe hopefully splash out a bit, so it's absolutely essential. Bad Christmas trading can put businesses under huge pressure, so the industry will be crossing its fingers and hoping consumers want to splash out a bit ahead of the big day.
With an estimated 12 million transactions predicted to take place on the first day of the Black Friday sales weekend and millions more to follow on Cyber Monday, there's a warning to look out for scam attempts that are set to skyrocket this week.
We see a lot of phishing attacks coming through from large brands that people know. So Amazon, as an example, giving away free gifts or gift cards. We see a lot coming through from Apple with very similar attempts, and people, I think, want to believe that these are true.
Meanwhile, in Glasgow, people are being encouraged to shop local by supporting Scottish fairs like this one.
You're buying a piece of work, you're supporting the person, the artist, the maker that you've bought it from, and you're in turn supporting their practice, which in turn kind of supports the greater creative community in Scotland.
After the Chancellor announced her plans for the budget earlier this week, there's concern amongst Scottish retailers about what this will mean for business rates here. With the start of the festive shopping season now in full swing, they're hoping this year sees a surge in sales across the country. Vanessa Kennedy, STV News Edinburgh.
Doctors are warning the next 3 years will be pivotal for the future of general practice. The British Medical Association describes a new funding deal from the Scottish Government as a step in the right direction towards salvaging the NHS, but warns there's still much work to do. Ministers say the investment provides stability for GP services. Our political correspondent Ewan Petrie reports.
Doctors have long argued that years of underinvestment have pushed general practice into crisis. That has left patients struggling to get appointments and piled pressure on staff.
We work all hours to try to meet demand far beyond the core hours that we're contracted to work. The BMA, Safe Working Guidance for GPs, advises 25 patient contacts a day per GP. We work beyond that most days of the week. We exceed our safe working limits, and that's just because we just don't have the capacity to be able to meet demand.
Last month, the Scottish Government announced additional funding of more than £500 million. That has gone down well with delegates at the Scottish Local Medical Committee conference in Aberdeen.
It is certainly a significant investment that is warmly welcome. It is a step in the right direction to salvaging the NHS and protecting universal free healthcare. It is a start. There's much work to do, and we need to see a number of additional support mechanisms in place for the service renewal framework promised by government to be delivered.
Doctors say the future of general practice hangs in the balance. Do you accept that?
I think the next 3 years' investment is absolutely critical for general practice. It provides that stabilisation and support to grow, to be able to employ more GPs, to be able to move into a more upstream agenda of preventative care, and helps us to shift the balance of care. So £500 million going into general practice, a record investment into core GP services over the next 3 years.
The Health Secretary also addressed concern from doctors over plans for walk-in GP clinics, saying the policy will be reviewed if it shows the same failings seen elsewhere in the UK. Ewan Petrie, STV News.
Work to change Glasgow's Buchanan Galleries is due to begin next year after a planning application was approved by the City Council. The owner of the shopping centre, Landsec, say the early improvements will begin in the second half of 2026 and completely modernise the existing mall. The City Council leader, Susan Aitken, says it can be a catalyst for Glasgow's next chapter. The winning design for a statue of Nelson Mandela in Glasgow has been announced. Sculptor Alan B. Herriot has been selected to create the statue following a competition for which 5 artists were shortlisted. The final design will stand in Nelson Mandela Place in honour of his connections to the city. Black artists in Glasgow have been given an opportunity to showcase their talents, with the first event of its kind to be staged in the city. Be United, which champions young and unknown performers from the arts to the screen, began as an idea in South Africa and now has a base in Edinburgh. Our reporter Raheem Cham went along to find out more.
From rhythmic rap to smooth Afrobeat dances. In this basement of a Glasgow city centre pub, the spotlight shines on emerging creatives through live musical performances.
With the artists, right, when we engage with them and sometimes they've maybe had bad experiences, and just having that care with them throughout the whole process, from getting them booked to doing their contracts to rehearsals and then being on stage, having that element of care and that experience that is made for them really helps boost their morale, boost their sort of progression in their career.
From bass guitarists to saxophonists and even videographers, such events prepare performers for big opportunities and future events.
Yeah, this event like this contributes to the learning process in the sense that, you know, I'm from the African background. You know, it helps me a lot to understand the crowd, understand the craft, how to blend this original Scottish music into the Afro side of things. So it's a lovely event.
Very good. It's helping to learn how to manage the audience, manage the crowd, manage the energy. Because performing on stage is different from recording. When you're recording, you're alone. When you're on stage, you have like multiple personalities.
And then there's Lickle Banty, the artist who seems to absorb every ounce of energy from the room.
I feel more understood. I feel like I connect more. I feel like everyone can recognize themselves in the words that I speak, and they can hear the melodies and resonate with them because it feels like home.
And the crowd responded in full force, dancing to every beat.
I think it's about time that there was these kind of spaces to showcase the Afrobeat and showcase the talent that is out there that's hidden.
The vibe was giving the tea. I love the music, I love the genre of the music. It just shows how diverse Glasgow and Scotland is becoming, actually.
Both of the artists were amazing, like Serenity Jones, Lickle Banty, they both absolutely killed it.
Be United have had a very huge impact in Edinburgh already, and I believe that them coming to Glasgow kind of just continues to spark up the opportunities that we can access.
Be United continues to open doors for black creatives, offering not just a stage, but a community where emerging artists can grow, collaborate, and be heard. Raheem Cham, STV News, Glasgow.
With just 1 week to go before Scotland learn who they'll face at next year's World Cup, excitement is building. But there are concerns many fans will face being priced out of what is already a once-in-a-lifetime trip, with tickets on tournament organiser FIFA's official resale site going for more than 5 times their original price. Our reporter Ollie Dickinson has been taking a look at these prices. And Ollie, what have you found?
Well, we found an all too familiar story, John, let me tell you that. Tickets bought for face value and then placed on a resale platform for a hugely inflated price. Let's take this example here. This is the game at Toronto Stadium on the 23rd of June. Team A versus Team B. We have no clue who will be playing. The ticket originally $60, the resale price $584. And when you add taxes, it takes it to 11 times the price, a whopping $671. Now, you might think that's just a one-off, but it's not. Monday, the 22nd of June, Dallas, Texas, the Dallas Stadium again. We don't know who's going to be playing in this game. Tickets have gone from $60 to $445. Fans say it's unfair and that they risk being priced out.
It's not all the tickets have gone on sale yet. FIFA will have a ballot that is not affected by the dynamic pricing from the 11th of December. So there is still a chance to get tickets through that at the kind of set retail rate, which is still extremely expensive. You're still looking at $400 for a run-of-the-mill group stage match. My hope is that once the draw's been made, a lot of the tickets for the games that have already been bought will come down on price on the various resale apps.
And Ollie, are these the cheapest tickets?
So those ones we've just looked at, they are the cheapest tickets, John, you're right. But it's the same story when you look at the premium Category 1 tickets, the best seats in the house. This game in Boston on the 13th of June, it should have been $410. Look at that. It's already a lot of money, but it's now costing more than $1,000 once you've added taxes.
So what have FIFA had to say?
Well, after conversations today with FIFA, it's thought that the tickets like these ones were only really ever going to be targeted at the North American market. So, for example, someone living in Toronto might take a punt on a ticket because it's practical, they don't mind what the game ends up being, it's a World Cup. Having said that, FIFA have also told us, though, that it will retain a ring-fenced allocation that is set aside for specific fan categories. So, for example, the Scotland national team, and that these allocations will be set at a fixed price. I guess the big question now then, John, is only who will Scotland draw this time next week?
We will find out. Ollie, thank you. Well, before all that, it's the bread and butter of domestic action over the weekend. Ronnie is here with the sport.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Black Friday sale.
Yes, a very good evening. Martin O'Neill says he expects a new manager to be in the door at Celtic at the beginning of next week as the club close in on Columbus Crew head coach Wilfred Nancy. It comes after an impressive 3-1 win over Feyenoord in the Europa League last night. Meanwhile, Danny Rule admits he saw improvements in his side despite their 1-1 draw with Braga, leaving their qualification hopes hanging by a thread.
To take charge for
the Celtic United will be far better club than one disunited, and that's obvious for anyone.
I think this is the step forward. At the end, of course, we want to win. We have to win such games. We have to close the gaps.
We showed something that we haven't shown. Yeah, we need to go and work on that, and we fully.
Hibs boss David Gray says welcoming Celtic to Easter Road on Sunday is the perfect game to get a reaction from his side after their midweek defeat to Motherwell. Meanwhile, Derek McInnes has reiterated his confidence that Hearts can produce a season to remember despite suffering their first league defeat. Jamie Borthwick has more.
After a deflating Tuesday night at Fir Park, it's on to a showdown with the Premiership champions for David Gray and Hibs.
Regardless of who the manager is, whatever their forms, they've got top players that play European football for a reason, so we know the challenge will be difficult. But as I said, I think it's a very good game for us to go into when I'm looking for a reaction, and I know I'll get it from the players. You get a home crowd, early kick-off, live on the telly. I think it's what players should come to this football club for, and it's an opportunity to test themselves against one of the best in the league.
Hearts' lead at the top of the table is down to 4 points as Derek McInnes and his men face another tricky game on the road against Motherwell, where they'll be backed by nearly 5,000 travelling fans.
They, like everybody else, will be hearing what everybody's saying. This is a downturn in Hearts, all the rest of it. We still have so much optimism about the season ahead, and I'm sure the fans are. The fact that 4,800 turning up. I think we've sold out at Falkirk already, we've sold out at Celtic Park already. It shows you that the buy-in for the supporters, they believe in the team as the way I do, and hopefully we can reward them with a result on Saturday.
St Mirren got plaudits but no points following their last gasp defeat to Celtic. They head to Dundee tomorrow looking to steer themselves clear of the Premiership's bottom two.
I'd take a poor performance on Saturday and 3 points, to be honest. But we know that we're not searching for answers. We know we have to be clinical. We know we're not being clinical at the moment. A good example of that is the semi-final. We had 8 shots and scored 4 goals, which is an incredible return rate. And we've not done that often enough throughout the team, from set plays, from everybody, including the strikers, but obviously the rest of the team as well.
Jamie Borthwick, STV Sport.
Well, these are your Premiership fixtures this weekend, starting with Dundee St Mirren. It is Motherwell against Hearts, also a 3 o'clock kick-off, and then the evening game is Kelly against Dundee United. Then on Sunday at high noon, Hibernian v Celtic, Rangers take on Falkirk, and rounding off the weekend, it is Livingston versus Aberdeen at a 3 o'clock kick-off. That's all your sport tonight, folks. Have a very good weekend.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Black Friday sale.
The weather now with Philip. I hear, this is good, I hear we have a nice weekend to look forward to, which makes up for the rubbish weather we had this week.
I know, John, and as per usual, it's all my fault. Blame it on the weatherman. We've had a bit of everything this week across much of the country, but I do love this time of year because it offers the opportunity for some beautiful photos. A huge thank you again to everyone for sending them in this past week. Here are a few. We've got a lovely sunset over Loch Lomond, a look at the snow in Aberdeen last week, and a pretty pink sky at Hopeman in Murray. This weekend is looking nice, John. So yes, if anyone gets any more lovely snaps, then please do send them in to us. We love to see them and share them. Let's take a look at the forecast.
Wet by the coast, with a high chance of sun and splashing. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
So yesterday we did see some pretty strong winds overnight, all associated with this area of low pressure that's pushing away to the north and the northeast. As that clears away, it's putting us back into a northerly airflow. But like I said, the strong winds, yesterday we recorded a maximum wind gust of 83 miles per hour. The winds are gradually easing over the weekend, and overall the weekend is looking fairly fine and pleasant. We'll get to that in just a minute. Back to just now, this is today's band of rain continuing to push southeastwards, and it will gradually start to clear away. So we will see dry and clear spells through the second half of the night, and the winds are easing. So with the light winds and the clear skies, temperatures will start to drop. For some spots getting below freezing, some rural areas -2, -3 degrees Celsius, but most places close to freezing. So looking ahead to tomorrow, a chilly, cold start to the day, a touch of frost in places. However, like I said, it's looking largely fine, dry and pleasant throughout the course of the afternoon. Lots of sunshine on offer. You can see a bit of cloud here later on in the afternoon. That's high-level cloud, so the sunshine will turn a little bit hazy. Temperature-wise, down a degree or two compared to today, highs of 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. Then looking ahead to Sunday, another fine day to end the weekend. We have this ridge of high pressure across Scotland, so largely fine, dry and bright with highs of 5. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And finally, how about this for some banging Christmas lights?
Now is the time.
The residents of this house in Barrhead have timed their Christmas display with techno dance music to raise money for the Beatson Centre. If you fancy taking a look or listen, the display happens every Friday night. I think they call that banging chons as well. I'll find out. From all of us, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.